Yep, we're on to Texas. Got started on these guys yesterday. Obviously, we had the teleconference, I guess, so you guys know that already. Sark's done an unbelievable job. First year in our conference. I don't know why I feel like they've been in the conference forever because of them playing in the playoffs last year, and they had the series with Alabama. So you've seen them on tape, and their team is built like an SEC team. He's done a tremendous job. Their defense is one of the best in the country. They've got explosive skill players. Did a tremendous job in the portal. Quarterbacks playing at a high level, and they've replaced a big group of backs who the backs they've got are doing a great job. So all in all, should be an exciting, challenging SEC championship.
Yeah, Coach, in what ways do you think your football team's gotten better since that first matchup with those guys? And same question to Texas, what areas have they improved since you guys have faced?
I don't know how to answer that. It doesn't seem like that long ago that we played them. I guess it was October, mid-October or so, that we played those guys. And, there are areas that we have played better in and then areas that we haven't. And it's almost gone both ways in terms of we've had games we played better in certain areas and then games we didn't play better in certain areas. We offensively, we didn't run the ball real well against these guys. We kind of succeeded off of their mistakes, their turnovers, and we scored points off of their turnovers. But we've played well offensively at times since, and we've played well defensively at times since, but we've also not put a complete game together, and that's probably what we're trying to do best now is play our best when our best is needed. As far as them, they've improved in a lot of ways. I think defensively they've been at a high level the entire year. That's not, I think offensively they've run the ball. They've committed to running the ball, being really physical. They've had 30 and 40 carries, runs in several games, and a commitment to that and a physicality, while also being able to throw the ball really efficiently. They've got the weapons to do both.
Coach, I know you see it in the NFL all the time, but what are the biggest challenges of playing a team for the second time in a year?
They're the same challenges they were the first time you played them. I'm a big guy that statistics and philosophies and things like that. I mean, in the NFL you play everybody in your division twice, and then you might meet up with them again in the playoffs. So when you flip a coin, there's no greater chance that it's heads or tails the second time you flip it. And I'm not comparing our game to a coin flip. I'm just saying that the previous matchup does not determine this matchup. You can't overstate that to your players because the flow of that game was different in the first 3, 4, 5 drives. And then, after a turnover, it went the other way a little bit. And then momentum swung throughout that game, and momentum's going to swing throughout this game. It's just the way these games are. It's more about who executes well, who tackles well, who doesn't turn the ball over, and who has explosive plays. That's what it comes down to every game.
Kirby, how did you feel like your defensive line played against Georgia Tech without Christian Miller, and just what is the challenge that defensive line is going to be up against the Texas offensive line?
Yeah, I actually was very pleased with our defensive line against Georgia Tech. I thought we played blocks really well in a really tough situation. I mean, we had 16 second and longs. So if you told me before the game we were going to have them in second 7 plus 16 times, I would have thought that we did something really, really well. What we didn't do was play real well on a couple of the second longs and a couple of the third downs, which really cost us. But the defensive line, we played more players there. We had to go into the well and play some younger guys, and they struck blocks and did some good things. What was the second part of your question?
Just the challenge of facing Texas offensive line.
Yeah, it's a different kind of challenge. They're massive, extremely physical. The Georgia Tech challenge was very different because it was like playing Wildcat quarterback, and they're both definitely challenges. But these guys have a lot of weapons around the quarterback, and they use all of them well.
Kirby, I guess it goes without saying you prepare for both quarterbacks, but if you could comment on Arch Manning and his, I guess, maturity and maturing this season, and then secondly, Smile Munden, what kind of lift do you think he's provided for you guys since coming back?
Yeah, Smile's been great. I thought he played one of his best games in his career against Georgia Tech in terms of physicality and sticking his face in the fan and striking blockers. He's a really good athlete, really good space player, and he had a lot of tackle production, but he played really physical in his last game. And I think he's ascending right now in terms of his play speed, his instincts, his confidence, and that's great because we want him to finish strong in his career here. As far as Arch goes, he's what everybody thought he was. He's athletic, smart, thick, a great thrower. I mean, he can run their entire offense while at the same time creating design runs or off-schedule runs, and both are scary because design runs with him are tough to defend because you're having to defend the whole field, and then he's also an elite thrower and passer. I mean, he's a great player, and they brought him along the right way. You know, he's gained confidence each and every week in the way he plays. He got to start some games. I mean, you couldn't write a better story for him in terms of development to be ready to go and be the starter.
Kirby, what has led to Cash Jones becoming an effective third down running back in the passing game particularly?
Experience. I mean, I think third down's a lot about what you've seen in your career. You know, the biggest jump for a running back from high school to college is third down because you're asked to do a lot of things in third down, more than you are first and second. And Cash's experience with his years here, I mean, he's gone through 4 springs of third downs. He's gone through 4 camps of third downs. I mean, he's a tremendous athlete. He's one of the best hand-eye. He spent a year on the scout team as a receiver, guys. I mean, like there's clips of him running around out there against Kamari and Keely Ringo, like going one-on-one at receiver, and he's catching deep balls. So he's like a jack of all trades.
Kirby, the defense this year, when you look at the way it played against Texas, Clemson, second half of Tennessee, Alabama, versus the way it's played, obviously, some other times, is it just confounding to you as a coach, or can you put your finger on anything, any reason for it?
No, I don't know that I can. I do know that when we execute well, we play well. We have great resiliency. But the trait that confounds you or bothers you is that when something goes wrong, like and any explosive play or any penalty that extends a drive has almost been catastrophic. Like we can't stop anybody if that happens, and we have not overcome that well. What we have done is stop people when we've had to. Played well in the red area. For a while there, we played really well at third down, but you can't put a finger on exactly what it was. If I could do that, then we'd certainly put a stop to it. But we've played well at times, and we've tackled well at times, and then we haven't at times. You know, we've had more injuries than we've ever had in terms of guys in and out, but we don't use that as an excuse around here.
Yeah, just have you seen Carson this season try and maintain consistency and not sort of ride that wave of emotion?
I don't really know how to answer that. I mean, I don't know how I've seen that because he hasn't. You know what I mean? Like Carson's very consistent in his thought process, his makeup, his process. You have to judge whether he's consistent on the field because I think he has been. I think people judge it on stats. They don't judge it on what we see, the day in, day out process oriented of what he's going through and what he's doing for the offense has been very consistent.
What did you see from Roderick Robinson, his return to the lineup on Saturday night, and is there any update you can share on Branson Robinson and his progress?
Yeah, we're hopeful to get Branson back and bring him back at the speed that he's comfortable with and that he feels comfortable with. I thought Rod, I don't know how many snaps he played, 25, 28 snaps, something like that, for a guy that had not played tackle football in a long time. He got his first live action back, and he's still gaining confidence. He's still getting his play speed back. You can't replicate what he did in the game in practice. We try to. He got good reps during the week. I thought he did a great job in pass pro, an area that he's taking pride in. 2-minute catching the ball. He's just got to get back comfortable, carrying the ball, running the ball, doing those things, and he's certainly very talented, and we hope that the longer he's coming back, the more he gets back to 100%. I mean, you can't just jump back out there and be 100%.
Kirby, I know there are a few former coaches on playoff committee. Would you like to see more former coaches that can help out with the eyeball test, and maybe Coach Saban lead that group?
I don't know. I don't know the best, 'cause I don't even know the makeup. Like, I don't know the exact number of coaches versus administrators, who all's in there or who should be. So it's not something that I concern myself with because I don't have a lot of control over it. I certainly think that there's people that can make that decision better than me, who all needs to be on it. They have to have a regional representation. I think that's important, but it's not something that I'm focused on right now.
Kirby, how did Dylan feel coming out of the game on Saturday, and when he's healthy, what does he add to this offense?
Well, he adds toughness, experience, quickness. He's got body quickness, ability to win one-on-ones. I think he came out of the game pretty healthy. I think it bothered him once, but it was good to get him out of it healthy because we need him to be healthy for this game.
Kirby, I'm still in the process of sort of compiling this, but with regard to Carson Beck, fourth quarter on, second half on, it seems like he just takes it to a different level. We certainly saw that this past Saturday night. Can you talk about your observations in that respect, and whether there's anything specific inherent to him that has made him so good at that?
Yeah, I don't know how to answer that because I don't separate it. I mean, the stats do.
Yeah.
But the stats lie. Stats are for guys that look at stats. I just look at what he does on the whole. Does he make the right decision? Does he make the right read? And that's not separated by halves or quarters. I just think the process he goes about to do it is, and you can make a case that we have not started fast and well. Is that Carson Beck's fault? I can't sit here and say that's Carson Beck's fault. I can say that Carson Beck is responsible, just like every quarterback is, for things, but there's other things that affect that, and they're outside of his control. And I think Carson Beck does a good job preparing for games. I certainly think throughout his high school career, going back to the playoff run he made at Mandarin, when he led them to a state championship, which I think was his junior year, he played well in those games, and he's played well at the finish and end of our games as well. So I mean, he's a clutch guy, he's a competitor guy, but I'm not questioning his ability to play in the first half just because of sheer numbers.
Yeah, Kirby mentioned the defense, has been able to make stops when they need to. How much confidence do you think that gives that unit going into ASU championship, maybe the playoffs, knowing that no matter what happens early in the game, they have made a habit of coming up big when they needed to down the stretch?
Yeah, I don't think you lean on that. You need to play well throughout, right? You need to start fast. You need to get off the field and give our offense field position. It's one of the things we haven't done a good enough job this year with our defense is creating field position advantage for our defense. We have had a lot of stops where we catch a ball on the 10-yard line, they start there, or we give up a field goal. And that's great, but that's not what we want to be. We want to stop people and force them to have to throw long third downs and then get the ball back to our offense. And I don't think you can say we're confident that we can stop them when we have to. We need to be confident we can stop them.
I think the defense with like over 90 snaps, I PFF 93 or something like that. So I got a couple questions to kind of finish off the Tech game. The timeouts you were calling in the overtime, how much of that was your guys being set versus making a read on what you were seeing from Tech? And the two, Travaris Robinson was a new coach that joined the staff this deep into the season. Is it more of a voice? I know you guys kind of called defenses by committee, but it looked like he was pretty active out there.
No, T-Rob does a great job. He and Dante both do. They both are responsible for our secondary, and they both, one works with the safeties, one works with the corners, but they provide a lot of help to Glenn in game plan, in-game adjustments. They're both really good coaches and help out all our defensive staff pitches in regards to that. And then the timeouts are more relative to whether or not you feel like you're in a good call against the look. That could be offensively or defensively. I mean, you can't take it with you. So it's one of those that you use it if you think it's an advantage.
Kirby, off topic from this game, Fran Brown has Syracuse in the top 25. What do you make what he's done there? And he said you offered him a message before the Miami game that he was very appreciative of. Can you share something about what that might have been?
Now, his son and my son are like really good friends, and so they went to school together, played football together, and played basketball together. So they're good buddies. And it was the morning we didn't have a game. It was the morning before their game, and we just wished him luck and congratulations on a great season so far. That was the biggest thing. Fran's done a great job. Fran made me a better coach. Fran thanks me all the time for what what Will and I did for his career and spent time with him, but Fran did more for us than we did for him. I mean, he's a great recruiter, great person. He taught me a lot about, managing players, talking to players, coaching players, and then he learned a lot of scheme here. And he's been around a lot of good coaches. It's not like his first place around good coaches. He's been a great man, father, husband, but also a great coach. And I knew he'd make a great head coach. He said that was his goal when he came. He said, I want to be a head coach. And I said, we'll work together. You help me and I'll help you. And both of us held up our end of the deal. And I'm so happy for him and not shocked at all, because he's hired a great staff. And Fran has a way with people. They like Fran. Those players are going to fight like hell for Fran.
Kirby, a couple weeks ago, you said that we need to play better around Carson Beck, but then you've also had some receivers drop a lot of passes. You've had a lot of dropped balls this year. How do you fix that, and how do you play better around Carson, given that support when the ball's on target?
Well, everybody do their job beyond just receivers and catching balls. Number one way to get them to catch them is throw them more. So we got to continue to show confidence, let those guys make plays. You help the quarterback with a better run game, which that might be some communication by Carson to them, who we're working to, and some communication by the O-line. It might be reads by our backs, and our backs running the ball better and seeing the holes and reading things better. We've got young backs who sometimes they're gonna hit it. They're gonna go run hard, but there's more to a run game than just how hard you run. So there's a lot of things. Tight ends, making plays, which we were able to do in some of the Tennessee game. It dictated that to us, and it's not as simple as, well, we got to target this guy more. We got to target that guy more. A lot of our offense is full field reads, and it's not predicated on who the ball is going to. It's predicated on who the defense is giving the most space to. And that's probably the biggest thing is that I think guys have played well at times around him, and he's got to play better. He knows that, and everybody on offense does. So does the defense for this game.
Time for one more question.
Coach, right up here, going back to that first game, you had mentioned the flow kind of affected maybe an approach or a game plan for Texas. But when you look at Sark, what kind of stands out about his play design, his play calling ability?
Yeah, it's attack mode. He's threatening you on the width of the field and the vertical part of the field, and now more than ever, the interior between the tackles run game. So he's going to challenge you in every facet of the game and create matchups through motions and orbits. He does a tremendous job of the use of his personnel. It's why they've been successful.
Thank you, Coach.